staffing, skills, and the entire gamut of institutional incentives, career development, and all that. That's cracks.
Yeah.
Then
May I just say, this is a very, very important area, and I think what you're saying is very important, but we have a very practical constraint right now.
Unless we do that, we are only talking in a vacuum.
Yeah. Okay,
Now,
thank you.
Now, second is the finance.
May I say, in the next session, we are going to be looking at finance. So if I might request you, I just want to make 2 announcements. One is, I would like to give a chance to 2 or 3 people who have raised their hands to speak in a very concise, quick manner, so their points are registered. And the second, for Mr. Manmeet Ahuja, we are expecting some guests. Please bring them here. We've kept seats for them before we go for the book launch. Huh? Don't hesitate, bring them from here and bring them here. Now, please.
No, that is one last point.
But 1 minute.
But one last point. There was a reference to building a medical college. I completely disapprove of this. Medical college is a state function. A municipality, which is already stressed fiscally, should not get into this.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, please. Please come. Right here, we have... Om, please, thank you. We have... No, we've kept seats for you here. Please come. Yeah. Yes, carry on.
I'm Debolina from National Institute of Urban Affairs. I just had a comment on what you just now mentioned about metropolitan, metropolitan structures available in the existing cities. As we are aware, Kerala has registered a doubling of the level of urbanization. So most of the statutory towns, they have become million plus. Not by the increase in the population of the existing statutory towns, which have all depopulated, but by the addition of census towns. So in the NURM Phase 2, if these million plus cities qualify for funding as mission cities, then how would one administer the entire governance and financing? This is an important point which should be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Yes, please, do introduce yourself.
I'm Anindo from Deloitte. I just have one observation. We were talking about the institutional structures in the local bodies. But even if, without going into the metropolitan construct, even in the urban local bodies, we see that there are multiplicity of agencies. Like if we take the water supply, for a developing city like Gurgaon, we have the water supply on one side being provided by, say, the Development Authority, PHED, as well as the Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon, and neither of these interact with each other or coordinate. So in some parts or pockets of cities, you have the service charges are being levied, better services are being offered, but there is a mismatch between the service offerings because of this. So this is something I think needs to be considered while planning this out.
Thank you. Partho, you can't be sitting there. There is a seat here. Come. Please. So I would just have maybe 2 more hands that have been raised. Yes, please. Sanjay?
My name is Sanjay Sridhar from the World Resources Institute. If you look at India, we are about 32% urban. And if you compare India to where Sao Paulo is or Mexico City is, they're in the higher kind of percentage of urbanization, 80-90% urban. And I think for a country that is going towards 50% urban by 2050, there is a need to work with elected representatives. I think we have avoided working with them. And also if you see the representation of people from urban areas in the state assembly or the national parliament, there is a disproportionate representation compared to the GDP that the cities contribute. So I think there has to be a systemic change in the way we work with elected representatives. Ravi and I are working on an initiative in Bangalore of looking at integrated governance and planning at the lowest form of government at the ward level in cities. And there are some good people there who are willing to do some good work. So I think there is a need to look at how we change our strategy to work with the politicians.
Thank you. I think at this point, let me close this session with a lot of thanks to all that have participated. because we want to actually continue this into another session, which is to launch the book that SAGE has published. And this book is by Dr. P.K. Mohanty, who is currently, Dr. Mohanty, you have to come here, who is currently Chief Secretary of Andhra Pradesh, but has for a long time been associated with urban development, was Secretary Housing in the Government of India for a long time, and was one of our principal supports when we prepared the report of the Committee on Urban Infrastructure and Service Delivery. I am going to, shall we first release the book, and then I'm going to have Dr. Mohanty speak about the main messages on public policy for urban development. May I invite Professor Bahl, who's an old friend of Dr. Mohanty, and Dr. Johannes Linn. He was very keen that this book should be released by the three of us. So all three of us will be here. And Dr. Mohanty, please come. We shall. And where is our sage friend? Chandra, come. Would you like to say a few words before we release the book, or would you like to speak later? I'll probably speak later. Later? All right. Okay. So shall we? This is the Indian way. Yeah? You open this, and then you show the book to everyone, and we all clap. Yeah? I come with you. This is the Indian way. Yes, you should. Please, come right in the center. No, we want you. No, there. Roy, you come this side. Yeah. We've got to do it proper. Okay. Dr. Mohanty, many, many congratulations. And I can't tell you how important this book is and how well it's timed. When we had another book, also published by SAGE about 6 weeks ago, which was launched in Delhi, at that time, a number of people, including some of our international visitors, spoke. And I remember at the end of it, when we walked out, Dr. Mohanty was one of the co-editors of that book. Several people told me that what Dr. Mohanty said on public policy is what they could really relate to and resonate with. So now, nobody else is speaking. It is your chance to speak on. And really, thank you for giving us this opportunity to release the book. Please.
Distinguished dignitaries, first I would like to thank Madam Isher Judge Ahluwalia, who has been my mentor, and she has been responsible to make me a very rigorous researcher. When she did our infrastructure report, and when we did our co-edited book, one chapter was written on planning between Dr. Ahluwalia and myself. I think we should have done at least 25 sittings, 50 readings of the chapter. That is the rigorousness with which she pursued, and which I did the same thing to my book, which is a 4 years work, including 4 months in the United States when I went to my daughter's house. So thanks to you, ma'am. Then I would like to thank SAGE Publications, particularly Vivek Mehra, Chandrasekhar, Unni. Special thanks to Unni. Almost on a day-to-day basis, we have been in touch. Vandana Gupta. and Smriti and all others. I would like to thank the two reviewers. Who first reviewer gets some critical comments, which I improved upon. The second reviewer, I was thinking of one professor, but it turned out not to be the same, gave an excellent comment, and because of which the publication was done by SAGE. I would like to thank ICRIER for giving this platform. I am very grateful to Roy Bahl and Johannes Linn. They have been my gurus. That 92 book, Urban Public Finance in Developing Countries, that is a seminal book. It has not been reproduced. There has not been any substitute. I doubt there will be any substitute to that book. But Professor Bahl and Professor Linn, I am trying to do one on urban public finance in India. Now coming to the book, I would like to specially thank my ministry, Mr. Negi, Avnish, Professor Mathur, quite a large number of people who gave me support. Now let me tell a few things about the book. This book is a book of economics. It applies economic theory to cities. So it is meant for policymaker, it is meant for economists, it is meant for planners, and it gives a complete review of the state of art research in urban economics. I particularly start with development economics. When Gunnar Myrdal and Hirschman talked about their development theory, they missed something. They talked about spread effect, backwash effect, economics of circular and cumulative causation, but they did not give a model. And that model was later discovered by Krugman. So I have linked development economics with new industrial organization theory, starting with Dixit and Stiglitz, then went to new trade theory, went to new growth theory, new economic geography, new urban economics, public finance, institutional economics, management, sociology, planning, and transportation. So it is a multidisciplinary book. Now the book combines theory and practice. It gives a roadmap to urban sector reforms in India. I was myself the mission director for Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission in the Ministry of Housing for 7 years. So it combines practice with theory. And I strongly believe that if India has to march fast to a developed country, India has to reinvent cities, India has to energize cities. There is no other way. And I read 2 famous books by Jane Jacobs when I was doing my thesis in Boston. They are 2 phenomenal books, just like Bahl and Linn's book. Jane Jacobs' books are all-time classics for urban economics student. When I went for urban economics in MIT, the professor first prescribed Jane Jacobs. Now, Jane Jacobs said there is nothing called macroeconomy. It is all amorphous. The real growth, so she criticized Adam Smith, the wealth of nations. There is nothing called wealth of nations. It is the wealth of cities which make nations rich. So therefore, the regional economics, the region as an entity, city as an entity, it is emphasized. And cities are homes to 2 powerful externalities. When you talk of new economic geography, when you talk of new growth economics, knowledge is an external driver of growth. Agglomeration is an external driver of growth. Cities combine both agglomeration and knowledge. So cities are homes to agglomeration.